I am Debbie McKeever, founder and owner of Strong and Healthy Temple. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Wanted to talk really briefly today about having big faith. I was watching an episode of the 80s show The Jeffersons, and that, I know a lot of you probably remember that show. It was on for a long time. But anyways, it was the episode where the help center that Louise Jefferson worked at was doing a blood drive, and everyone had donated blood except for George. And so she was pressuring George to donate his blood, but he was making excuses because he really didn't want to do it, scared or whatever it was. And anyway, he had to clean Mr. Whittendale's suit that day, so he used that as an excuse, and he ended up paying Ralph the doorman to give blood in his name. But for the sake of this example, we'll just pretend as if George gave his own blood. Anyway, he had come home upset because he'd messed up Mr. Whittendale's $2,000 suit. He burned it. I think he burned like the lapel or something like that on the $2,000 suit. So he was really scared and upset because, of course, Mr. Whittendale owned the building that they lived in and that his cleaning stores were in. And so anyway, Mr. Whittendale comes by, and when George opens the door, Mr. Whittendale says, "Jefferson, I love you." And so George is like completely confused. And so the thing is that Mr. Whittendale's wife ended up having some type of an accident, and because of this accident that she had in the house, she tripped and fell, and I think bumped her head or something like that. She needed some blood, and she had a rare blood type. And he was telling George, we found out that the rare blood type that was donated belonged to you. And so because of that, he told him to ask for whatever he wanted, because he had saved his wife's life. And he was like, the sky is the limit. And so, George was excited, and he immediately started formulating all of these big things that he really wanted to ask for. He was making out this list. His faith was big. And so George represents that part of us that is developed and big in our faith, and that believes that God can do anything. All things are possible with God. Whereas Louise, in this instance, has like a twofold meaning. Like, she was telling George, well, I know he said, you can ask for anything that you want, but you don't want to, be like too outrageous. So she represents that part of us that sees God as small, and that we need to ask, for just enough, or just the small things, and not be ridiculous, with our requests, or what we perceive to be ridiculous with our requests. And she also represents that person that, even when we have big faith, that person that will get you to kind of back down on your faith. So because she was, kind of, pecking away at George and telling him he was asking for too much, he started to kind of back down on what he was going to ask Mr. Whittendale for. Mr. Whittendale is representative, of course, of God in this example. And so anyway, he narrowed it down to the one really big thing that he wanted, and it was like a custom Rolls Royce. And when he showed it to Louise, then she got really excited about it. She was still, a little bit hesitant, that they should ask him for something that big, but George had already gotten her excited by that time. So anyway, when Mr. Whittendale came back, because George, had kind of got talked down a little bit in his faith, he wasn't really, bold about asking for it like he was before. He just kind of, when Mr. Whittendale asked him what he wanted, he just kind of said, oh, not much, just this. And he, he handed him the, the brochure of, the custom Rolls Royce that they had picked out. And so Mr. Whittendale's response is very interesting. He says, oh, is that all you want? Is that all? It was like, no problem. And so what I wanted to point out is that a lot of times we will, put God in a box, forgetting that God is boundless. God is, limitless. We're talking about the source of all creation here. Everything is in God. God is the source of all. And so, we can't put God inside of a box, because a lot of times we're limiting what we're asking for, and God is thinking the same way that Mr. Whittendale was thinking, like, is that all? Is that all you want? Because literally God can do anything. And so a lot of times I think we talk ourselves into, well, I don't really have anything right now, so I can't just ask for something big. Well, I'll use money as an example. I can't ask to be a billionaire because, right now I don't have anything. So at first, I need to, ask for a couple hundred, then a couple thousand, and, move up progressively. Well, no, you can, have faith. You can have faith to be a billionaire. And the thing is just getting your mindset right first, developing your mindset and developing your thinking and developing the faith to receive that. But trust me when I say that God knows, what you're ready for. So even if you ask, for $1 billion, God is going to give you the money in proportion to your faith. So if your faith right now is for the couple of hundred or a couple thousand or for $1 million or whatever it is, then God will give it to you in proportion to your faith. But you will receive, the $1 billion once you're ready for it. My point is, don't put God in a box. Be George, don't be Louise. And think big and ask big, because literally, whatever you're asking God for, especially when you receive the revelation that the sky is the limit. And really, my belief is that not even the sky is the limit, that there is no limit, because God is boundless and limitless. The sky is the limit is just, kind of a cliche saying. And so that's why Mr. Whittendale said that. But the point was, it doesn't matter what you ask for what you want, and that's what you're going to receive. And that has to be our attitude, that when we have faith in God, we can ask for whatever we want and we'll receive that as long as we have the faith for it. So like I said, this is going to be really brief. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit the bell icon to receive notifications of when I release new videos. Thank you so much for watching. Make it a great day.